Yeah, we back. Now, today we're going to be talking about Mali. Yes, back again, once again, with another successful military operation. Shout out to His Excellency, the General and the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, the President of the Republic, Assimi Goita. Yes, once again, shout out to the big homie. Today we got some excellent news. As you can see, take a look up on the screen. The Mali army has captured an Islamic State group figure. High-ranking Islamic State leader Ahmad Agdida has been captured. Now, yes, as you can see, we got some excellent news coming out of Mali. Once again, another high-ranking terrorist has been neutralized. Another high-ranking terrorist has been taken into custody, right? You thought it was only the CEOs of the gold mining companies. No, we taking the terrorists into custody too. And speaking of the gold mining companies, I still have to do a video on this, but yes, Mali currently has an arrest warrant out for the CEO of Barrick Gold, the second largest gold mining company on planet Earth. So if anybody could find the CEO, Mark Bristow, let him know that we are looking for him. The black man is looking for him. We just want to have a conversation. Take a look up on the screen. In fact, this came out the other day. Barrick Gold threatens to suspend Mali operations over blocked exports. So currently, as you can see, the military government in Mali is locked in negotiations with Barrick Gold, the second largest gold mining company in the world, right? And obviously, negotiations are not going smooth, right? They want to arrest the CEO, and they're not allowing any gold to be exported out of the country, right? So they put a block, they put a sanction on the gold exports at the current moment, right? Currently, Barrick Gold is under sanction. Take a look up on the screen. Barrick may close the Mali gold mine over a dispute with the government. The shares of the gold producer fell as much as 2.6% in Monday trading. Barrick says Mali's military government has blocked shipments. So listen, man, we smashing on the terrorists. We smashing on the Western multinationals. We going crazy, man. The black man going crazy. But anyways, let's get back to this jihadist that we just captured today. This crazy, Islamic Al-Qaeda jihadist that we just took into custody today. Let's talk about it. The Mali armed forces have captured Ahmad Agdida, a senior leader of the Islamic State in the Greater Sahara, also known as EIGS, during an operation in the Manaka region in eastern Mali. The army described the operation as precise and professional, resulting in the deaths of several EIGS fighters. I'm not going to say fighters, I'm going to say terrorists. Ahmad Agdida is accused of orchestrating terrorist attacks against civilians and the Malian army, as well as ordering multiple assaults on the Mali armed forces. During the operation, military equipment, including improvised explosive devices, were seized. The army also reported that two EIGS terrorists, had surrendered. Now, when you hear them talk about EIGS or the Islamic State, they're talking about, it's basically an offshoot of Al-Qaeda, right? It's basically, an offshoot of Al-Qaeda, essentially. Now, here's the thing. Recently, as you know, the government in Syria was recently taken over by essentially terrorists. Basically, one of the main guys that has taken over Syria is a leader of a militant group that is also an offshoot of Al-Qaeda. And what stuck out to me the most was Emmanuel Macron had made a celebratory announcement or a celebratory statement, basically giving his blessing and embracing the new administration in Syria, right? He said this, take a look up on the screen. The barbaric state has fallen. At last, I pay tribute to the Syrian people, to their courage, to their patience. In this moment of uncertainty, I send them my wishes for peace, freedom, and unity. France will remain committed to the security of all in the Middle East. Now, as you can see, France, one of the so-called protagonists in the fight against terrorism, now coming out and embracing the new administration in Syria, which, like I told you, is an offshoot of Al-Qaeda, which shows us that our enemies have no problem standing next to these so-called terrorists if it's aligned with their interests. Now, in this video, we got to take you down memory lane, man. It's the end of the year. We got to give an end of the year wrap up for all the military victories the Mali army has accomplished in 2024, man. If you remember, I did a video on this months back, right? Take a look up on the screen back in May. State TV in Mali says Abu Huzaifa, a senior Islamic State commander who had a $5 million U.S. bounty on his head, has been killed by a force including troops from Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. That was earlier in the year, right? Major victory, right? High-ranking terrorists that even the so-called greatest armies in the world couldn't even capture. The so-called greatest armies in the world couldn't even assassinate. But it's so funny, as soon as we kicked them out the country, all of a sudden, them terrorists started dropping. All of a sudden, them terrorists started getting killed. Meanwhile, The Western forces were in the region for over 10 years. They couldn't even kill an insect. They couldn't even kill a cockroach. And in fact, General Michael Langley, I believe he's the leader of AFRICOM, he actually said that in the past 10 years, terrorism has exploded tenfold, right? While the Western forces were stationed in the region, terrorism has exploded, right? So these guys came to the region to fight terrorism, but under their watchful eye, terrorism has exploded to never before seen levels, right? So either these guys are complicit or either these guys are terribly incompetent. It's either one or the other. Now let's continue. As you already know, 2 weeks ago, I dropped classic videos on this topic right here. Take a look up on the screen. Drone strikes by Mali's military regime has killed 8 Tuareg leaders in the country's north. Unprecedented drone strikes claimed the lives of multiple Tuareg leaders in Mali. Now, I dropped a classic video on this topic, one of my best videos, one of my best breakdowns, one of my best geopolitical breakdowns to the situation. Go check it out. Dropped it 2 weeks ago. It's entitled Mali Army Kills Several Terrorist Leaders in a Historic Victory, right? In fact, even the Western media, even the Western publications have said this was the most successful counterterrorism military operation of the last 12 years. In a single military operation, you had a whole branch of leadership wiped out. You had 8 leaders smoked, destroyed, eviscerated, disintegrated, evaporated, all in a single operation. And like I told you, the French were stationed in the region for a decade. They couldn't kill a cockroach. They couldn't even kill a mouse. In fact, let me show you how incompetent the Western militaries were in the region where they were fighting terrorism. Take a look up on the screen. This was back in 2021, a year before the French got kicked out the country, right? A French airstrike kills 19 civilians at a Mali wedding party, right? So the French military conducted a military operation where they were so-called, targeting terrorists, but they accidentally airstriked a goddamn wedding. They airstruck a goddamn wedding where, children and elders were congregating, having a good time. That's how incompetent these fucking booty scratchers were, bro. They were airstriking random weddings. These guys were so fucking incompetent, bro. And that's why you got kicked out the country, because you ain't shit, bro. You ain't shit. Spent 10 years in the region, and the only thing you killed was innocent civilians. Couldn't even kill a single terrorist. Couldn't even capture a single terrorist. 10 years in the region, couldn't accomplish a goddamn thing. Take a look up on the screen. The Mali Wedding Massacre, January 3rd, 2021. 22 deaths. The victims, civilians. The perpetrators, the French Air and Space Force. That's why you got kicked out the country. That's why they embarrass your ass, because you are incompetent. You are incompetent. How the hell you the so-called the French armed forces and you getting overpowered and outsmarted by some goddamn dusty Arabs in the desert? What's wrong with you, bro? These dudes are impoverished, they're illiterate, and they're wearing flip-flops. And you got all this modern equipment and you getting outsmarted and overpowered by some goddamn Arabs in the desert. What is wrong with you, my guy? But it's funny, like I said, they spent 10 years in the region, but just 2 years after they kicked you out, look at how many terrorists got dropped. Look how many terrorists got captured. Who's really fighting terrorism and who's really not? As soon as the black man told you to go back to your country, now the black man is wiping out terrorism. It's funny how that works, right? It's funny how that works, right? As soon as we told you go back to your damn country, now the black man is wiping out terrorism. You see, when you conduct drone strikes, you be wiping out innocent civilians at a wedding. You see, when the black man conducts drone strikes, we end up assassinating whole entire factions of terrorist leadership, right? We actually hit our targets, right? Yo dumbass ends up hitting innocent women and children at a wedding. And aren't you embarrassed, right? Aren't you embarrassed that after you left Mali, after you left with your tail tucked between your goddamn legs like a goofy, you actually left the region in a worse state than you found it? That is really a testament to your incompetence, right? You came saying that I'm here to stabilize the region. I'm here to fight terrorism. I'm here to help you. You left the region in a worse state that you found it. Even like I said, even General Michael Langley said it. Terrorism has exploded right under your watchful eye, right under your watch. Terrorism has exploded tenfold, right? Because you're an incompetent piece of shit. Now, anyways, I want to get into some of these announcements that were put out by the Mali Armed Forces. Take a look up on the screen. They said this. The General Staff of the Armed Forces informs the public that on December 15th, the units engaged in the Manaka region captured Ahmad Agdida, a prominent leader of the EIGS, responsible for a large number of crimes and abuses of all kinds against innocent civilian populations and a sponsor of attacks against the Malian armed forces. This military success An important step in the ongoing fight against terrorism was carried out with precision, rigor, and professionalism, and also allowed the neutralization of several terrorists, as well as the recovery of various military equipment, including numerous improvised explosive devices. Furthermore, as part of the ongoing security of the national territory, an armed force unit arrested 2 EIGS terrorists who surrendered on December 14, 2024. While saluting the commitment of all the units involved and their sense of discernment, particularly during combat operations, the General Staff of the Armed Forces reassures the population once again that the security and protection of the people and property throughout the country remains the priority. Now, that was put out on December 16th. Now, here's another press release that was put out, I believe, on the same day. The General Staff of the Armed Forces confirms a series of major actions against armed terrorist groups as follows. On December 15th, airstrikes destroyed a terrorist group in a pickup loaded with logistics. On December 16th, at 10:20 a.m., airstrikes destroyed a terrorist logistics vehicle loaded with fuel, ammunition, and the neutralization of 3 fighters. At 10:38 a.m., airstrikes destroyed a vehicle parked at a terrorist base. On December 16th, airstrikes destroyed a major terrorist logistics base, and the General of the Armed Forces assures that the search for and the destruction of terrorist safe havens continues. Now, let's take a look at some of the reactions on social media. This person said, they should milk out the necessary information about terrorism sponsorship and eliminate them once they get the necessary info from them. Yeah, I agree. As we speak, that boy probably going under some tremendous torture as I'm recording this video. Now, let's continue. This person said, probably with NATO weapons sent to him from the real axis of evil. The Malian military should just kill him slowly. Let's continue. This person said, as a financier of the criminal organization, he managed the channeling of foreign funds and the collection of taxes imposed on the local population. In addition, he was in contact with the population under terrorist control. Now, I guess they're talking about the recently captured terrorist, NelsonAmadeus. He went on to say, his arrest was made possible thanks to precise information obtained by the Malian army. The targeted operation took place in the Manaka region in the east of the country. He went on to say, he will undergo enough torture now to provide information to Goita's comrades. Ha, man, listen, man. Let's continue. This person said, when you catch any of the terrorists, show no mercy. They should be summarily dealt with. They are savages, and the only language they understand is the jungle language. Now, once again, another successful military operation from my boys out in Mali. You know, shout out to my boys, man. Now, this is yet another embarrassment for the Western powers, right? Because every military success is going to reflect back on the fact that the Western armies were in the region for a decade, fighting terrorism, bringing stability. And what did they achieve? Not a goddamn thing. Terrorism ended up skyrocketing, right? The region became even more unstable. Their presence didn't bring anything productive. 10 years in a region, 0 results. 10 years in a region, 0 results. And just 2 years after the black man told you, go back to your goddamn country, go back to Paris, go back to the goddamn Champs-Elysees, right? Then what happened? The terrorists started dropping. The terrorists started getting assassinated. And not only that, not only did the black man expose you militarily, but also the black man exposed you economically, right? Don't forget, yeah, we destroyed Orano. Don't forget, we destroyed the French multi-billion-dollar multinational Orano, right? So we exposed you militarily and we embarrassed you economically, right? Yeah, the black man stomping on your neck. Yeah, the black man got his foot on your neck. Yeah, the black man got his foot on your neck. I know it's embarrassing. I know you mad. I know you hate it, but it is what it is, baby. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Anyways, man, it's your boy Nevercard. That's Salim back in the Billy. Yes, indeed. Cash app in the description. Support the channel, man. Support the album. Peace.
No. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders. You know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we young. She said that she ready to come be my wife. Yeah, hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word and it's bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I'm eating no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news. Back in my city, they loving me. Standing alone, I'm 100 deep. Enemy plotting and still in reach. They try to make make sure that we underneath. Trying to make sure that we never make it. Coming for power, come get acquainted. Coming for everything that I wanted. Feeling like Drake, but I really wrote it. Feeling like Kendrick, I'm checking names. Gotta roll up while I go insane. Got so much stress, I've been gaining weight. Stuffing these racks in this Louis case. One thing for certain, I'm about to check. Keep it 100 and nothing less. Stick with the family since day one. Had to stay down till my day come. Had to stay down, but I'm never patient. Hop on the mic and I'm motivated. Hop on the mic and I drop a classic. Haters can't see me, they copping glasses. Back in the studio making magic. Got a new tape and it's in production. Back on my business, I got a budget. Staying low key when I'm out in public. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders, you know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we on. She said that she ready to come be my wifey and hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word in this bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I mean no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news. Making the news. Making the news. Breaking the rules. Yeah, yeah. Know that we making the news. Yeah.